We're going to attempt to sketch this shape out for assignment 8. So this is my trick, is look at the profiles here. If I were going to do this, I'd just create the rectangles first. Notice that the whole top row is aligned and that these two are aligned here. So what I would do, go to CATIA. This is create a new wireframe. I'm in wireframe right now. If you hit generative wireframe surface again, it will create a new workbench. If I hit part design, just switch to part design. But if you hit the workbench you're currently in, it will do something new on that workbench. This is going to be on the XY plane. Again, for some reason, horizontal is going down, so I'm going to go to view. Oh, there it was. Normal to view. Normal to view to get my X and Y normal for me. I'm going to create a few rectangles starting at 2 and over 1. I'm trying to remember how tall it was. I think it was like 3.5 inches tall. It doesn't matter, I can fix it later here because I'm just going to auto constrain it, and I'm going to line this up. Coincident that. And I know this one was a little bit deeper. And then I know this one was the same. So instead of creating everything, I'm just going to create a portion of it. Go to auto constrain. And I'll just reference these as my datums, the H and the V. Select OK. I left it in chain mode because if you look at the document, all these are chained. So I got all the rectangles. All I have to do now is edit the values for the rectangles, and it will put it in the right location and the right sizes. Okay. So I think, let's see, it's 3.5, 1 inch up. So this is 3.5 apart, 4 apart. Oh, and every once in a while it does something like this. Okay. Another thing I could have done is, I'll undo that. I just highlight this whole thing and just go right to auto constrain. Okay, it still did this dimension. Okay, another trick is don't have your axis in there. Just highlight everything and go to auto constrain. Okay, it's no big deal. All I had to do is erase that one dimension I didn't like, but you can auto constrain that and then highlight this and then auto constrain again. And I'll add these two dimensions. And this was at 3.5. This one here was at 4 inches. And 4.25 and 5. 4. This is 4.25. And this one was 4.25. You should move all the constraints, make it pretty. But notice that I didn't have anything else. Now I can go ahead and create my circle, which is at 8 and 10. I'll just place it somewhere over here. Highlight this thing and go right to auto constrain. Let it do its thing. I just added its dimensions, and it was what, 8 inches high, 10 inches tall. Diameter switches to a diameter at 3.75. Okay, so I got that shape in there so far. I'm going to take all my geometry. Ay, ay, ay. I might not be able to do it because it's grabbing the points. I'm trying to go to properties. I'll make this a little more bold. Okay, so I've got the rectangles, I got the circles. Now we'll create the spline. We'll go to spline. I don't remember, something. You don't want it to get coincident to anything, so make sure you don't lock up with anything. And go right to auto constrain, reference this vector and this vector. Those are stack dimensions, so let's stack it. Oh shoot, let's highlight this whole thing. Actually, let's hit undo. I got to get my node points in there, so I'm going to highlight that so it gets all the points and go right to auto constrain, reference my axes, and then stack dimension it. And then you just got to move all your constraints out and add whatever values you want to add, and then you can actually start your exercise. All right, that was just my friendly little tips on how I created that sketch profile.